feature for this video is agent website. Keep in mind that this is just showing a few samples of standard agent websites, but these can be customized and curated to suit your individual needs. So this is an example of an agent website layout. This features really modern design with clean, sleek lines and not a lot of quote-unquote junk on the screen. You can see the agent photo,
in the background is fully
office
customizable as well.
information, and all the branding is in the header, which is displayed across every page of the website. To keep that consistent, we have created that as a standardized layout for every standard template to make sure that when the customer is going to an agent with one standardized template versus another, they're still navigating to the menu and the account items in the exact same way and in the exact same place. You can see we have prominent calls to action as well, as I mentioned, for those that are setting up an account on your site or going through your menu items. And you can see at the center of this, photos and videos are really king here. So we want to make sure those of you that are using professional photography, you can prominently display that.
A couple of things I want to point out, some of which he's already covered. Do you guys see how this is so prominent? It's one of the first things that you see. Also, they can search from the header. That's another thing that's going to be pretty common throughout each of the different layouts, as well as your picture and information to where they can easily reach you from really any part of the site that they're going to be on. So if they're scrolling, that header is going to remain up top, but then there's going to be additional ways that they can reach out to you and contact you as they're interacting more and more with the site. This photo back here, this is the one that I was mentioning a second ago. This is fully customizable, which is great because so many of you guys are using professional photographers. So that's a really good way to highlight maybe a particular listing that you really want to shine a lot of attention on. It could be one of your biggest sales. It could just be something that's related to the community that you're a part of, or your team, or anything else that may be a good way to kind of reinforce your brand. So this is fully customizable, as well as these buttons. So maybe you don't do any kind of rental activity. That's just not in your wheelhouse. You can remove that completely to where it's just buy or sell, which is great. This menu at the top right-hand corner, that's gonna be more for the consumer, where they can create an account to where they can save a search, they can favorite a property, they can hide a property, they can reach out to you. So again, those calls to action are very, very prominent from the get-go. This is one example of one of the templates. You'll see more in just a little bit.
We're going to have default images here as well, but you will have the ability to add your own custom imagery and videos in as well. And Remax will be providing an image library so you can pick Remax stock photos and any other Remax branded or related photos. And I want to point out a few other items on this page. Quick search, you can see, is at the front and center and the focal point of the page. And these tabs can be hidden at the agent level based on your market and your offering. So for example, if you don't do rentals, you can take that rental tab you see in the middle of your screen and eliminate that. A couple other things I want to point out is the menu item in the top right corner. So this dropdown will direct users to other pages of your site. You'll get default navigation that'll be provided to you, but you can use and build these menus out to have whatever content you like.
For example, school districts, things that are important to the communities,
preferred vendor pages, etc. So the sky is the limit with your menu building. And if you don't want to touch the menu, great. You'll still have some standardized content and resources in there to make it a full and robust website, but you don't have to do a lot of extra work. And if you're the type that want to really customize this, the sky is more or less the limit. And pretend that we're scrolling down here on our page. This takes you to the listing section. And
same template we're working from.
How your listings can display, but you can see a large section to promote those listings. You can see a lot of great property info right at a glance, including the large photo, listing details, and property description, and more. And they can click through several of your listings without having to leave your homepage, or they can click on the View All My Listings button to view all of your listings. But again, this is just one way that your listings can be displayed on your site. Scrolling a little further down the page, you're going to have a content block that can be used to promote your reviews as well. These will feed in automatically from Zillow, or you can manually enter and manage your own reviews. Each layout has different options for content blocks to help you promote certain pages on your website. You'll have content blocks by default, but you have full control over this space. So for example, this default for this layout promotes your branded app. But if you want to promote social media or any other content things you're affiliated with, you can promote them here. But in this one, you can see default is the mobile app. And this is a completely different
template with a
layout.
video embedded at the top.
Website, but you can see this one is more geared towards those agents who are maybe active on social media or big video users as well. You can see video is highlighted at the top with the ability to add additional photos or videos with a scroll feature. The search bar is still present. You can see it on the screen, but it's less of a focus. You can see we switch over to buy, sell, and rent tabs. Scrolling down the page a little bit, you can see on this more social media savvy site, agent photo, contact information, all of our social media links, bios, and awards. Those are going to pull in automatically if you choose to have them on your site, which is an awesome feature. Those are front and center. And there's several calls to actions that allow the user to contact you. So you can see we have a contact button on the screen, and we have a few other items as well. This template is going to allow you to feature several reviews in a carousel format, which is a little different than what you saw in the last kind of design or template. So again, these feed in automatically from Zillow, but you have the ability to manually add these on your own. And then scrolling just a little further on the page, you can see your listings are showcased in a little bit different style, of more of a block format. And what's cool about this is you can show for sale or recently sold. If you don't have any listings, we can hide this. We can also pull in content or content in terms of listings from your team or your office site to make sure that maybe you're a newer agent or you don't have any listings right now, that this area isn't blank if you still want to display listings on your site. Another big bonus for our agents within this template is the ability to showcase your social media feeds. So,
really quick, a quick little note. This is going to be common across all the templates. Booj is paying attention to every state's different kind of rules, regulations, what's legal, what's acceptable, what you can post out there, what you can't. So they have really done a lot of the legwork to ensure that whatever you guys are posting is going to fall within those parameters. So for example, sold data. We know how Texas works when that comes to that kind of information. So because we're a Texas office and because you are Texas agents, that information is not going to be shown on your website. So you don't have to ever worry about the content that you're posting or where it's going to be feeding from, like the MLS, because Booj has already done that work for you.
Allow customers to easily connect with you on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. And these are plug-and-play widgets that you can use and show and have any combination displayed in a meaningful manner to you, so they can see your feeds right on your website. Scrolling down a little bit further, you can see we have more video options. So again, if you're very video heavy, these videos can be about a neighborhood you represent. Maybe it's an interview, maybe it's testimonials, drone footage, or any other video created to market yourself as an agent. Those can be popped in to any video section on the site. And it's really important to note, if some of these sections don't apply to you, or you wanna do multiple pages of videos, you can hide these or add. And all of this was built using blocks. So you can drag and drop and move these sections if you'd like. So for example, if you wanted to move the testimonial section to the top of your page, you can easily do so within your CRM. And for those who want to differentiate themselves even further, you have the ability to easily personalize any of these layouts to meet your needs and preferences. So this is the exact same template, just using different photos. So you can see here we have agent, in the top left we have an agent who maybe sells downtown condos or within a larger city. I mean, they have their testimonials front and center. The other example in the screenshot on the right-hand side is maybe someone that sells rural or equestrian type properties. So they're going to show ranches and horse properties, and they're going to maybe have their listings to be front and center since they're these beautiful, more stately type properties as well. And you can see within the same exact template how they can look and feel differently. It can be customized to suit your
This person put their reviews
and of
first
course,
before
we have
the
an account
listing.
area built into your website as well. So customers who've had a great experience on your site and are actively engaged with you on that said site, they can benefit from creating an account with you, your team, or your office. They can save those searches so they can receive email notifications in real time, or once a day, or whatever they like. They can favorite those properties they love and hide the ones they don't. So they can also share the
You'll be
same
notified every
favorite
time.
properties with their agent and other account users as well. So that helps improve that communication with everybody involved. This is a huge deal. They're going to be able to go on your website, save searches, communicate with their preferred agent in real time, you as the agent are going to get those notifications as well to make sure that our communication is streamlined. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, that if you don't like something on your website, you can customize that. So this is full website customization using content pages. Our CMS, or our content management system, is going to allow you to build really diverse sections of your website. So again, we showed you how you can make those changes to your homepage layout, or you can get rid of a video, whatever you'd like to do. This is how you're going to do it. It's a really nice, easy drag and drop system that allows you to quickly build out sections of your site, rearrange sections of your site, or altogether delete and edit sections of your site. So there's going to be a lot more information coming out as it relates to website customization, the standardized website templates you're going to get, whether you're an office, a team member, a broker owner, luxury agent, commercial agent, etc. So this is just a kind of a sample video to show you a little bit about what's coming. Nice, rich, clean, user-friendly websites. So stay tuned for more videos on website content.
So what do y'all think, just based on the videos that we've seen? Yeah, pretty cool, right? I was pointing out a few of the features that we're going to talk about today, but I think my favorite thing is that you guys can really choose to show as much or as little as you want, which is nice. So if you're somebody who, reviews. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. So it mentioned in the video that you guys they're going to automatically pull in your Zillow reviews, which is what we have in our websites right now. So as it exists today, if you've set it up that way, your Zillow reviews are populating on your RE/MAX site in real time. It'll be the same with our new ones, but you'll also have the ability to manually enter reviews that are coming in on other sites. So maybe somebody writes you a glowing review and they send it to your email. You can talk to that person and say, hey, I'd love to feature this on my website. Are you okay with that? And then you can just copy and paste it out of your email and drop it right into your website. The same is true for Google reviews. A lot of times we've heard that for the consumer, it's a lot easier to type a Google review than it is a Zillow review, because Zillow has a whole bunch of other requirements. Oh yeah. So same thing, you can copy that Google review that they've left for you and it's already public, so you don't have to worry about their permission. You paste it into your site and it's there. So if you guys are getting feedback from any of the marketing that you're doing and it's so great, put it in here. So you have full control over how many reviews and from which sources, which I think is a really cool feature. Do y'all have any questions on what we've seen in the videos so far?
If somebody has left a review on your business Facebook page, is that considered public also?
Yes, 100%.
If it goes to your email, obviously you have to say, hey, this looks great, can I put it on my website?
Yeah.
If they put it on your Facebook page, then
if it's out there, it's out there. So, and I would encourage you guys too, while we're waiting for the sites to launch, start kind of aggregating those, like go into those third-party sites, like even like if you have reviews on Realtor or any of the other places, or in your emails, or maybe you have your own custom domain, wherever they exist, start with a Word document and just start copying and pasting those into a Word document. Save it onto your desktop. That way when you're working on your site, you can have them all in one place and you can just feed them all in there.
but you don't need to do that if you have Zillow.
No, Zillow is going to automatically populate on your site for you.
But so if you have them in Zillow and then you want that to be part of your front page, I guess you could say, you can take that and manipulate that up to
Yes.
the front page.
Yes. Yeah, so the question for you guys on Zoom, Paige was asking, if you've got these Zillow reviews, can you move them? Because they're automatically going to feed into your site. Can you move them up or down on the page to where they're more prominent or anywhere you want? And the answer is yes. So in one of the examples that you guys saw in the video, there were two different screens and it was the same template for the website, but that person put their reviews first underneath that video or that photo because that's what was most important to them, whereas the other person showed their listings first. So that's really cool. You can completely choose that. You can choose whether or not you want to show reviews at all. So it's entirely up to you guys on how you want your site to look, how you want it to function, and how you want the consumer to interact with you. Speaking of the consumer, so toward the end of the video, he talked about their ability, the consumer's ability to create an account. That's very important because once they do, they're going to be able to interact with you freely. So you guys saw that they were kind of having a little conversation, agent and consumer. Hey, I really think this is a great fit for you. Chris, your son, would love the backyard. And the client or the consumer says, yeah, I love the backyard. Can we go see it? And it timestamps it. It gives you the date. It gives you the time. That works a lot like a Facebook Messenger. So you'll get a notification that pops up that says, hey, you have a new message from Chris, or you have a new message from so-and-so. So that way you'll know, you don't have to log in to find it. It's going to tell you that somebody is trying to interact with you. You'll also be notified when they create an account. Later on, probably tomorrow, we're going to talk about the benefits and how you guys can kind of sell the benefits of creating an account through your website to the consumer. Did you have a question?
Yeah, whenever you're
Okay, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. You can incorporate this at any point, whether you're talking about the consumer app and, hey, download my app, because that's going to be the same thing, essentially. They're going to talk with each other. Melinda, what was your question?
the accounts that I have on Weed Street right now, those seamlessly be.
They're going to transfer.
Okay.
Yep, they're going to transfer. The question for you guys on Zoom was, for the accounts that have already been created in Lead Street, will they migrate over? The answer that we were told in Denver is yes. Those will come over, so you don't lose anything. But the good news is when they do come over, everything's going to automatically update for them. So they're going to see the whole new interface on their side like we'll see it on our side.
We need to send another link for the app.
I don't know. It's going to automatically update the app as well. So if they've got the Remax app on their phone today, when it launches sometime in November, it's going to automatically update it, just like our other apps do that we use all the time. So
Good question, and I'll leave.
go ahead, Barry.
I want to see technology. Just gotta ask, or I won't sleep tonight. Their homepage,
Yeah.
can they do slideshows?
Yes.
Multiple pictures?
Yes. So you have the ability. The question, you guys, was, can they do slideshows on the homepage? Yes. So there are different templates that we're going to show you guys in just a bit, where you can feature a video. You can feature still images that work on that carousel. So when they click through it, it'll just keep going. Or you could do a combination of both. So there's galleries that you can just drag and drop. So all you have to do is click and upload the photos that you want. You also have the ability to create little sub pages that are specific to your site. I mentioned this a second ago. So maybe school districts are very important to the people that you guys work with, which most people, if they're families, that's one of the questions they want to know about. You could create a page in your website that's just for school districts, to where you're pulling in information or you're adding links to the districts in the areas or the communities that you work in. The same could be true for any community organizations that are near and dear to your heart. When we talk about SEO, does anybody want to know what SEO stands for?
Search engine optimization.
Yes, good job, guys. Search engine optimization. That's something I think you guys have probably heard about for years now. And it's sort of been this mysterious little thing, like nobody's really quite figured it out unless you're just kind of a little techie person. But we're going to talk about that and how our individual agent websites can compete in the big, scary World Wide Web without getting lost in the shuffle, and why it's so important to have your own original content that is very specific to the communities that you serve. Because then if somebody, say your target client, somebody who lives in this area or wants to be in this area or who has kids in this area and they're searching, your content is more likely to show up for that person because they're local or they're going to be local, and your content is local, geared toward local people with school districts, community organizations, restaurants, lifestyle type of things that you're like, your running groups, Kevin, that would be something that you could link to. How you give back to the communities that you serve, all of that is hyper relevant when it comes to how you're found in search results. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yep.
I noticed it had on the mobile app, it had links to all the social media.
Yes.
But I know that they love to put their listings on Facebook or something.
Mm-hmm.
Can you merge that?
Yes. So I think what you're asking is, are they going to talk to each other?
To Facebook.
Yeah, so what we can do now with the technology that we have is when we post or when we add a listing into the MLS, we have the ability to directly share that out to our Facebook through the marketing materials that Remax designs for us and gives to us. With booj, what's going to be great, and I didn't mention this, so that's a really good question that you asked, you guys are going to be able to choose how your listings are syndicated and to where. Because right now there's such a big deal about, are they going to go to Zillow? Are they going to Realtor? Or where are they going? Because we're a global brand, right now they're just kind of showing up where they show up. But with booj and the launch, you guys are going to be able to pick and choose where. There's 11 total sites that we'll share with you in a little bit. 11 total areas, Zillow included, where you can choose to push that listing out. Your social networks are going to be fully integrated with booj. So I look for a lot more function to come out of that in the future where you guys can just do like a one-click thing and it's going to share out. Bye, Barry. Thank you guys again. So that's something to look forward to as well, those integrations and how that's all going to kind of talk to each other. When they, it was so funny when they were telling us about the listing syndication, the whole room was like, ooh, because that's not ever been something that's been offered where you can choose. So for example, if you had something that was, that, you knew was maybe relocation or something that needed a wider reach, you could choose them all. But if you weren't interested in putting them somewhere for some reason, you don't have to. You can completely choose how those listings are syndicated, which is amazing. Yes.
So, as of now, everything comes in, and then when it goes on the website, and it's gonna feed into the website, can you, edit in that website those listings?
You can, but the general rule is that the MLS is feeding our site. So it's better to make the changes to the listing itself in the place that it's living. So you would want to make that change in the MLS.
Okay, so you want to do it in the origination, because my concern is, like, if I push it out to social media, to Facebook or something like that, and then I want to make changes into that Facebook, I can push it, but I can edit into that, but I can't, it's not good to do this because they keep doing a new upload with the system, so it's not, it'll take it and then take it away.
Yeah, it's always better. Even today, that rule exists before booj launches. If you need to make an update to the listing for whatever reason, whether it's a status change or anything else, always go to the original source, which is the MLS, because that's what's feeding everything else.
So once you get it onto a social site, then you can edit all you want.
Oh, completely. Completely. Yeah.
I wonder if, piggybacking on her, I'm wondering if you do have for example, a price change. You go to booj and make the price change there, directly adjust in all sites.
I would think that you would want to make that change in the MLS first, because the MLS, yeah, once you make it in the MLS, it's going to update as quickly as the MLS refreshes, which Katie tells me is about 15 minutes. Every 15, that data is refreshing. So once you make that change for the price in the MLS, it will be reflected on booj and everywhere else, on your agent website, the office website, and everything else that's connected to.
I think what I'm getting at is once you post one time, for example, on Facebook, it's already there. Somebody's captured it or screenshotted it. It won't change that original post. It will just make another post. Is that the way I'm understanding it?
So if it's a screenshot, it's not going to, because that's a still image. If it's a link that is the Remax link, it should update it. It should, because it's all going to be fed from this one platform.
But you have to push it to that link.
Yeah.
But right now, when you change a price in the MLS, it takes like over a day, sometimes 2 or 3 days to show everything in the Remax website. So are you saying that that's going to be more live?
It should be. Remax, I think I mentioned to you guys, they are making agreements with every single MLS in this country, believe it or not. Can you imagine what an undertaking that is? They're making agreements with all the MLSs so that the data can be refreshed quicker and more reliably than what it's been in the past. Because the big frustration for the consumer is you've got the same listing on 5 different sites with 5 different prices and 5 different sets of pictures. So what RE/MAX is trying to do is to become a single stop for the most reliable and the quickest, most quickly updated listing information that there is, all fed from the MLS. But there is still that little factor. If you're in a more spread out area, because you guys know I can't really say rural very well. If you're in one of those types of areas, you're kind of dependent on the MLS. So if they're not updating for 2 days, it's likely that there's not a whole lot we can do about that. But when I talked to Katie from Denver and I said, how often are we refreshing our data? She says it's every 15 minutes. So with that said, we should have no issues in the foreseeable future with how quickly this is going to be updated on the interwebs. So.
But, okay, so just, I want to go back to Kevin's question.
Okay.
That if it's on the social media like Facebook, because you pushed it out there, then if you push it, so then you do an update, change the price or change the picture, whatever,
Right.
and you get it back out there, then you still have to push it out there to the social media. You
can, but it really depends on where you're sharing the information from originally. So if you're sharing a link, so if you go to your remax.com agent website and you see your listing there and you click on that listing and you share that link or share straight from within remax.com, that link should be updated every time that you're making updates. Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
just
what I
like
want.
Paragon, if you share Paragon link, and you change the price, your client is able to,
Right.
that text feed is, it should be as long as it's a
But
link.
I think we have a lot of agents who don't do the link. They just put like
Bunch of
marketing
pictures.
material that Design Center creates that isn't the actual link, and that's why it's not updating when they change.
So we could run into an original post versus a link being automatically updated through the booj system, which I like.
Yes.
But there's still gonna be some previous posts, especially.
There
when
could
we start this,
And that's why I say it really just depends on where you're sharing the information from originally. Best practice is to share a web link, because if the MLS is feeding those web links and there are updates made in the MLS, that link, when it's clicked on, no matter if it's day 1 or day 12, and it's pointing back to that source that's continuously getting those updates, your content will also get those updates. So I think it really just is make it a practice of sharing straight from the system, where you can just make sure that those links are updated so your content stays fresh.
Well, that makes sense to me. That's less time, less places you have to go
Yes.
to change it all. I like it.
And
Yes.
you're touching to make sure you don't have any errors.
I'm sure there'll be some things that have to be adjusted along the way, but this is a great start.
Good.
I like it.
Okay, so you guys know by now, if I want to go to booj, then I'm going to go into Max Center first, because that's where it's going to live from here on out. Okay, so I'm going to go into the beta platform again, because I'm not going to make changes in my live environment. I'm going to go right into my beta system. For you guys, it'll just be the booj platform. And by now, this should start to look a little bit more familiar. So you're greeted by the dashboard. And these are all the things that we've talked about so far this week. So we talked about contacts and leads. We've talked about the deals or the transactions section. We've also talked about a little bit about campaigns. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, because campaigns really work within both the CRM and the site. So when somebody makes or takes an action on your website, you'll be notified that they've created an account, which should then allow you to put them into a campaign. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more today and tomorrow. Campaigns are monthly newsletters that they can get in their emails. It could be the infamous drip campaigns. You guys control the frequency. You can send campaigns on an important date every year, which is great. So for home anniversaries or happy birthdays or anything like that, Merry Christmas, you have the ability to do that. So you can kind of set it and forget about it, and it's going to communicate for you throughout the year. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for today, we are going to talk about the website. So right up here where it says website, that's where we're going to go. This is going to allow you guys to see your settings. We're going to go there in just a bit, testimonials, and the option to customize your site. So quick recap. if I needed help in booj, where would I go?
Question mark, bottom right.
Yes,
The blue.
very, very good. So yes,
I'll be there all the time.
yeah, well, hey, and me too. It's too easy not to. And rather than have to go out of it and go into Mac Center and search for something, I can have my answer right here within the platform itself. And better than that, it can walk me through each step. So yes, very good, Kevin. You get a gold star today. You would just click on this question mark here in the bottom right-hand corner, and it's going to walk you through all the goods that you need to know about. Did somebody have a question? No? Okay. So I'm going to go to website. The first thing that I'm interested in as of right now is settings. So that's the third option in the drop-down menu. You have two options to choose from. One is called relaxed, and the other one is called restricted. So if I have set the button to what's relaxed, this means that in order for someone to interact with me on the site, they'll have to create an account to see certain features, right? So relaxed is they can see a whole bunch of the features, but if they want to book a showing or see a property, it's going to prompt them to create an account. Okay. Restricted is if they're viewing the same property over and over, like say 3 or 4 times, and they have not created an account, it's going to ask them to create an account at that point. So they've clearly shown an interest. They've come back to the site. Now it's like, hey, it probably would benefit you to create a user account. So you get the option. Me personally, I like the relaxed option because sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to create an account yet. And then you run the risk of them maybe not coming back. Restricted just gives you a little bit more control, and it comes up quicker for that person to create an account. However, I say, and my own personal opinion on this, is as you're having conversations with your buyers, with your sellers, let them know that there are benefits to them creating an account because they can communicate with you quicker. They can share what their favorite properties are with you at any point. They can also hide or remove properties that they're not interested in from within the system. And they can also, I think I said this, they can chat with you or message you from here. So, and you'll be notified. No different than a text message or anything else, but that's something that really appeals to that consumer, knowing that they have that direct connection, direct highway to reach you if they need to.
So that, and they can talk with you or chat with you through the mobile too?
Yes.
Okay, so go over the relaxed one more time. They can view everything on the system.
Mm-hmm.
They can see some of the stuff. And,
Yep.
and then, but if they want to look at something, then they have to register.
Yeah.
And restricted just goes straight to registering.
Yeah, so restricted is kind of like, hey, so you're on the site for a little while, it's probably great to create an account. Or if they're clicking on the same listing over and over again, but not creating an account, it's going to ask them to do so. Either way, the goal is to have them create an account. Also, so that they can search more easily by drawing polygons on the map. You'll see that. You'll get to follow them through their different levels of activity as they interact with your site and when they interact with other sites. Because you guys know how easy it is to click from one site to the next, to the next, to the next, and you don't even realize where you are. It's the same for our consumers. So we'll talk a little bit, Charlie and I have some conversations that we need to have about how that's all going to work in terms of lead routing from like remax.com to the office to all of you. And that's part of that conversation. But for the consumer, since we're talking about this at this point, when they create an account, it's also going to ask them, do you have a preferred buyer's agent? And they can say yes or they can say no, because maybe they're not a buyer at that point. If they're looking at property, maybe they are. It's likely that they are. A preferred buyer agent is what you want to start coaching them on once we get closer to this launch, because it's going to afford you with a lot more insight into what they're looking at. Also, if that consumer happens to hop around on different sites and they don't realize it and they try to go and book a showing on a property that they like on another agent's site, it's going to ping the preferred buyer's agent and say, hey, John Smith just asked for a showing on this property on another agent website. It's not going to say who the other agent is. Likewise, on the agent website that John Smith was booking that showing on, it's going to notify them and say, John Smith currently has a preferred buyer's agent, to let them know, like, hey, this person kind of belongs to someone. Give it some time so that the preferred buyer's agent can pick up that phone and say, hey, John, I've got some time this weekend. You don't have to be weird about it. Doesn't have to be weird. You can just say, like, I know that, you're probably still looking at property. I have time this weekend. Did you want to go see anything? Likewise, if a preferred buyer agent consumer removes you from that list, you'll also get a notification that'll say, hey, John Smith just either deleted his account completely, or he has removed you as the preferred buyer's agent, which again should prompt a phone call, unless the guy is just a turd and you're okay with it. So it's going to give you a lot more information, more so than we've ever had. But I think it can be a good thing, because ultimately the goal is so that we can service these people quicker. And so that none of these leads just kind of fall by the wayside.
I guess the question is, well, I mean, because we don't know who the other agent that they've only contacted.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out that John Smith went to Dana Simmons. And we go to Dana Simmons and say, yeah, that's really my client. I mean,
We won't know if he goes to another,
to,
like outside of RE/MAX, we're not going to know. We can't control that. What we can control is what's happening under our roof. And our roof is large because we have a lot of RE/MAX offices across the country, and we have a lot of RE/MAX agents, not just in this country, but everywhere. So we won't know. We won't be able to follow that consumer outside of our RE/MAX roof, which is remax.com, office site, team site, agent site. That's that hierarchy. So if they go outside of that, they're a ghost. We won't know.
We'll just know he's stepping out, and we just won't know anything.
Right.
but what if he steps out with somebody within our house?
Well, that's
Their
when we'll be notified. Yeah.
But we won't know who the other agent is, though.
You wouldn't have anyway in the real world.
Mm-mm.
Happens
Till
every
you
day.
see him come drop off checks one day.
Hypothetically.
Why do you get that Facebook post that they're closing?
Like, oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I think you have experience.
You guys can control also, like, when it's going to prompt them to create an account. Is it 5 listings when they click on it? Is it 4? Maybe it's just 1. Totally up to you on how far you want them to go before it prompts them to say, hey, you need to make an account.
How did you get to that?
I just clicked on restricted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is almost reminds me a little bit of that they're using a little bit of the Zilla stuff.
A little bit.
An extra Zillow, top producer, and a bunch of stuff.
So you guys are exactly right. One of the key booj developers, everybody in here knows Boomtown, right? Okay. One of the key booj developers was with Boomtown for 7 years, and now he's like one of the head trainers with Boomtown. He's one of the head trainers with booj who trained us. And so they have taken little pieces of a lot of what are more of the common CRMs. So Boomtown is one of them. Chime is another one. Top Producer is one. They've taken what's good from those and have really kind of used that as sort of a foundation on how they can improve upon it to make the experience better in our product. Also taking into consideration all the feedback that has come in through the development phase from people who are just like you guys, who are in it and using it and saying it would be great if it worked this way. And so that's why we call it an iterative technology, because it's going to continuously get those updates based on the way that it works and the feedback that you guys are going to give.
Do you think there will ever be a fee for this?
No. Fee-free, everyone. Good question. I've had several ask.
Can never fail to get a great product for $19.99.
Fee-free. So our hope too is that for those of you who are paying quite a bit of money every month for a CRM, that once you get in here and you start using it and you love it, that you will be able to save however much you're spending on those CRMs that are charging you. Okay. All right. So I just went back up to this main menu bar and clicked on website, and then I clicked on testimonials. So this is where you'll be able to copy and paste in the different reviews that you guys have from your other sites like Google or even Yelp. Try Yelp. Sometimes I see them on there. Anywhere that you may be having them in your email, go through and log it. Text messages, I'm sure you get lots of goodies that way too. It's just as simple. Where should I go if I want to add a testimonial? Blue, yes. Blue button. This is common among each section in booj. Usually in the top right-hand corner is where you can create something new. So it's no different in this case. We're going to click on add testimonial, and then you can put the author's name. So maybe it was Kevin Reed leaving a review for so-and-so. So that would be the person who wrote the review is the author. You would paste it right here. And if it was just a rating and they didn't leave a review, you could still put their name and what kind of star rating they gave you. Because I think that's pretty common too. I see that a lot on Google. You'll see a lot of like just stars, but no real written content. Use it. It's there. Put it out there.
So does it matter how far back the review is? Just the review
No.
itself?
No. Somebody had also asked in training, so you guys saw in the video that it shows the listings about like my sold listings, my current listings. How far back is that going to go? Remax says from 2010 to today is how far.
Automatic feed into sold?
Yes. Yes. But for Texas, it's not going to show the price data, thankfully. It's just going to show like these are the properties that were sold. That's what they're telling us. So we'll see. It is. It's so much. From 2010. So right, yeah, almost 10 years.
So is this also where the Zillow reviews are gonna go and stuff too, or?
Zillow is going to automatically feed in
To the testimony.
to the section of the site where they're going to show up under my reviews. So you don't have to worry about those. These are just for third-party sites outside of Zillow and outside of Remax.
This is gonna be active and live for
November.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
that gives us time to work.
Exactly.
Is there any, I know like on Zillow, it's very hard to get a review. Is it so easy to make fake reviews on this? I mean, is there any way to check? I mean, is it, or is it
That's
just?
a real thing. Like, their agents paying for fake reviews.
Well, I mean, if all you gotta do is get into your website and plug in the information and give yourself 5 stars, then yeah. Like something, fake.
Thankfully, though, I feel like people are kind of like, you'll know the difference. Like if you see somebody who has like just little 5-star, 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 you're going to be a little bit, I would be very skeptical because that's not real life. I mean, even the best people in other industries aren't ever 5 stars. It's like 4.3. It makes them a human at that point, and it's not just a robot. You will have people who will abuse that, I think. Me personally, I don't know that I would focus more on the written reviews because those tell your story better anyway, where people can relay their own experiences that they've had with you guys. That's gold. That's what you're looking for. I'm not saying don't ever post a review that just has stars, because I think there's something to that too, but make it a goal to use the ones that have the text, because that's what really that's what they're talking about. And when I look at reviews, that's what I'm going to read anyway.
I posted a review one time, this guy couldn't even spell, but he posted a great review. I put it on Facebook. I got so much feedback, like, this guy can't spell.
Yeah.
I responded to every one of them. It was funny. So
Like,
they
please don't
need
beat
all
up on my
reviews.
customer. He's not, he's
I know
not
he
thinking
bought a
about
house
me.
for me.
He still loves
He may not can spell, but he bought a $300,000 house. You know, whatever. It was the interaction that I was surprised
Or I
about.
might never leave you another review.
You guys know too, like say that you
Thank buddy. That's awesome
paste
review.
something in here, right? And you're like, oh man, like I missed part of it, or I wish that I could, you know, space them apart or something else. This little pencil right here, just like always, you can click on it to edit it, just like that. There we go. Also, you can delete them.
Edit the review they sent you?
So these are what you're going to copy and paste anyway, right?
I'm loving that. You suck. You're awesome.
That's why it's also important to have their permission, depending on where the review is coming from. If it's out on the internet, wherever that is, I think it's free game. However, if they send it to you, maybe in a text message or an email, then I think just ask them like, hey, I'd love to put your review, your sweet glowing review on my website. Are you okay with that? Most people like to see their name in shiny lights, so they will be okay with that. Okay.
I see right there they've got first name, last name. I probably wouldn't feel comfortable with doing that.
You
Like
can just
first
do-
initial, last name.
Yeah,
or
either
vice
way,
versa.
however you want it to look. Me, I like to kind of see first name, last initial. So like Dana J, that kind of thing. Totally up to you though. You can go all in or you can just do 2 initials. It doesn't matter. You won't be required to put a full name. Okay, so that's testimonials, right? Let's look at what the website editor looks like. So we worked from the bottom all the way up. We started with settings, then we went to testimonials. Now we're gonna go into customize site. Now, good news, you guys can change the way your homepage looks. So you'll have the option to see what those templates are in here. So right now it defaults, I think, to layout 1. It might be layout 2 in the live version. I'm not sure. But you can, is it layout 1 in the live version? Okay. You can change that. You can preview what the site looks like as you make changes. So what it looks like in the kind of editing environment can be very different from what it looks like in the real world. So if you preview it and you decide, I think I want to move this up or down, you can do that and it's going to keep up with you and make the changes in real time. So again, this is a preview. You guys can see this is a photo. In the video earlier, Remax had mentioned that they are going to have plenty of stock photos in here. So if you want something that's more farm, if you do a lot of land type of sales, or if you're more industrial, they'll have options. So you can click through here. This one was one that I played with earlier. This is a call to action block, just a contact us block that I put right up on the top, like, hey, how can I help you today? But again,
like that, how can I help you today? That's, I mean, that just sounds
Inviting.
intimidating.
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah, it sounds like you're there.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're there,
Create an
ready.
account now.
hey, you, click here.
Give me all your personal information. Have it in a block.
Yes. So again, you guys can move this. So you're going to have a call to action in here. I don't know if it's going to click on it because it's the beta. Yeah, it won't. It'll be in there where they can contact you. I put it up right underneath the photos just because why not? I can. Then it's going to move into your bio. So if you guys will remember from Tuesday and even a few weeks ago, we were telling you guys go into your profile in Max Center, make sure your bio is current, make sure your photo is current, all your contact information. This is why, because it's feeding directly from your profile section within Max Center. So you want to make sure that all of this is updated. I'm not sure in the live version, but in the beta environment, I am not able to edit this information from within this editor. I have to edit it in my profile.
In Max Center.
Yes. Okay. So moving forward, that's why that's very important. Next, I'm going to show listings. So if I am brand new and I don't have any, it's going to default to the office listings so that you do have content there so that it's not just desolate and empty. How great are these listing prices, by the way? I think like we could do 2 and I could retire. Next is reviews. So this, I can view all of the reviews. These are in carousel format as well, so I can just click through and read them all if I want to. Followed by some social media integration. So if I'm on Twitter, I can link my Twitter account to my site. So as I'm posting on Twitter, that content is also going to show up on my site. The same is true here. It's going to keep up with you. It's going to link all of the networks that you choose to share. So if you're not into Twitter and there's no need to have it there, you don't have to link to it. That's a current feature as well. Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to ask you, it should actually be in your profile section. What are your social media links to your sites? And that's what's going to feed here. So if you're somebody who doesn't use Pinterest and you don't have a link, then your little Pinterest link won't show here. Which is nice because then if somebody clicks on it and it doesn't take them anywhere, then you don't have to worry about that.
Because then they're going to judge you. Because if they're really interesting and you have like an,
They're going to say, what a loser. I don't want to work with that person.
Clearly not somebody I have like, yeah.
Next, these are the little blocks that come default as part of your own websites, but these are also customizable. This is for search engine optimization purposes because this is where content is going to be updated regularly from Remax LLC. So it won't necessarily be local, which is why it's so very important that you guys are posting local stuff, local goodies to boost where you show up when people are searching for real estate stuff in our area. But just know if that's not your thing, you can include these 2 blocks and you're still okay. So this one is about account benefits. So why should I have an account? Which is nice because if it prompts them to create one, they can learn why they need it right here on the site. And then they also have the ability to learn about your mobile app, which is so very important because that's how they can communicate with you. And we're trying, if you guys remember from Tuesday, to become not just a leader when it comes to real estate tech, but the leader in real estate tech. I was blown away in Denver with how the app works and the way that a user can search. I think I mentioned to you guys that RE/MAX partnered with another company called Mapphonics or something like that, where if you want to search by school district, it will map it out what those boundary lines look like and show all the properties available within that school district. It will tell you this is how far this house is from the nearest like lifestyle thing, like hospital or grocery store or whatever, which is so amazing because a lot of people, especially your reload people, don't know what's around here. Not to mention,
I'm curious to see what kind of accuracy they have in the Mid-County area.
right?
where People that live there don't even know.
I know. You know, I thought about the same thing because Mid-County, like you could literally put your
Those
feet
maps are gonna
on
be
2
like all
different
over
things
the
and you're in 2 different cities.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. I'll be curious too. I really will. The thing that I'm most excited about though, and this is something that none of the other apps that I've used offers, is that augmented reality where somebody can walk down a street and hold their phone up to a house that's got a sign in it, and it's going to say, oh, hello, this is all the details about this house.
And that's any company, right?
Any listing that's in the MLS. Super,
That
super
alone should get
weird.
people to put that out there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Completely.
Nearby,
You wanna know?
it's like
Yeah.
book.com, them nearby also, where you don't have to point it. It's just
Yes.
You're driving on the road. And
Yes.
There's a little bubble or a field.
Yes. And so when, say that you're on a street that's got multiple listings with multiple brokerages and you're walking down, there's going to be, it'll follow you, the little blue dot on the map, just like you would with your own GPS. So weird. It's going to follow you and then it's going to light up and say, oh, look. So there's like these little rays that dart out from your blue dot on the map. So it'll kind of tell you, but on the map too, you'll see the little pins where listings are. So if you're walking and then 1 street over or 1 block over, there's something for sale, you can turn and you'll see it, which is so cool. So when it pops up, it'll tell them just like the basic details, you know, beds, baths, that kind of thing, square footage, and then they can,
show status, like if it's pending.
it should. That's what they told us in Denver. It's going to give them immediate information, which I think is awesome for them, but it's also a really good tool for y'all because now you don't have to go into Paragon and search it for that address. You'll have that at your fingertips too, so that you look 100% prepared all the time.
Yeah, the reason I asked about status is a lot of times, you know, it's not on the list. I'm not showing you this today because it's under contract and I know this, but I know it's still showing on realtor.com because it's pending an auction. Realtor.com says it's active. So if you can pull that up and go, see, I told you, you know, and
Yes.
it's the real status, not
Yes.
not still what realtor.com says is active.
They said in
Because it makes us
Denver,
look stupid.
completely.
And then they don't believe us. They don't believe us when we tell them.
That's when you screenshot it, say, here you go, I told you so.
So my understanding from our training session was it will be updated in real time. But again, it's all dependent on if they're updating the status in the MLS. So if they are, and they do, then we should be able to see that when we're walking around. Okay. So what I also love about this little contact block, this My Mobile app block, is it'll have something that they can tap to immediately make that download. This should be branded to you because it's on your site, which is amazing. So that's done for you, and all they have to do is download it, whether they're on an Android or an iPhone, and then it's going to pop up, and when they open it, your name's going to be at the very top, which is the best part. Keeping with it, this is a video block. So if you have a video, I think John did one not long ago, maybe last year, where he just is kind of followed throughout the day and what he does. That could be something to put here. If you are somebody who is involved with the board and you guys did a big fundraiser and you want to highlight that here. You can change this as often as you like. If you don't want a video there, you can remove it. No big deal. And it won't be just a big blank placeholder either. So if you're somebody who doesn't need the video here, then it just goes away. And then the next thing they'll see is this box. So.
It's not gonna have a big picture that says not pictured.
No, it will not.
No.
So here's another call to action box right here. Send me a message. They can do it there. And then there's also a button here, contact me. All your Facebook links here at the bottom. And then this will actually say Remax 1, whatever your office name is. It probably in our case will say Remax 1 Beaumont, just because I think that's what it looks like in the roster. But you've got all your disclaimers here, which is nice. All of your other disclaimers here, which is also nice. So you guys don't have to worry about that. With Lead Street, but prior you had to upload your information about brokerage disclosure form. All of that should carry in here, so you don't have to worry about, am I compliant, am I not? It's all taken care of. Question?
So if they're on your site
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking at listings,
Mm-hmm.
they can call it any listing that's in the MLS that they're out there. But they're on your site, on your webpage.
Ask me again.
If I'm on your webpage,
Mhm.
and you're sending me stuff, and I say, well, I saw a house at 1234 First Street.
Mm-hmm.
Can I look at that information while I'm on your website, that house?
No. So Remax.com is going to feature Remax listings. However, when you're walking around and if you're in that augmented reality stuff, then anything that's in the MLS, no matter what the brokerage is, you'll be able to get the information on it. But it's not going to be like a listing that shows up on your site. It's going to be Remax listings on your site.
That stinks, man. I can't have an IDX feed on my site.
Yes, you can.
Okay, the answer is yes.
I think in the search bar, when you're
When you're
searching,
searching
it's
for
the
house,
whole
it's gonna be whole in the left.
Yes.
You're saying like the featured
Featured.
listing.
Oh, featured listing, that's your own, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
That was probably my misunderstanding of what you were
Okay,
asking.
so I'm confused now. So if I'm on your website, your particular website,
Mhm.
I can look for any listings in them that are in
Where
there.
you go. Are you looking at our featured listings or are you going? Featured listings mean your own listings.
Right, got that.
You could actually.
Anything.
But you can also look
Right.
at any other listings out there.
Yes. I thought you were talking about featured listings, and I was like, no, that's totally Remax, like all the way. Sorry, Paige.
Okay.
Okay, so really quick, last thing that I'm going to show you guys before we break for lunch. This is what the editor looks like. So do you guys see on the left-hand side here? These are what I meant and what the video meant. These are draggable. So that's how I can move this up or down, which is great. So that contact form, this right here. Yeah, so that's at the very top now. Customize site, and then when I went from here, I'm in the beta version, so you may not have this little guy. Agent layout 1, I just clicked edit, so I can show you guys kind of what that looks like. You are welcome. So right now, do you guys see how I'm at the top? How can I help you? That's this contact form. I'm gonna move it underneath my picture, and it's gonna switch it for me just like that. So it's right there. If I wanna change this, how can I help you today? I'm gonna click on my contact form block where I just was, right? I'm gonna click my pencil because that's how I know to edit it, right? Now, notice over here where it says title, how can I help you today? Yeah, let's talk about your next home. Whatever you wanna call it, up to you. So it's just that simple. You'll name it what you want, you hit save changes, and it's done. Okay?
What is
Yeah.
the default of that?
I think it just says contact me
Send me a message.
or send me a message. Yeah. Yeah.
So all this that you're doing here,
Mhm.
we have the app, you can change all that directly from our app.
It's a good
Or is
question.
that in the,
I would venture to guess this is a desktop thing. I haven't heard any talk about being able to edit the site from within the app. And I think you would probably have better luck doing it on the desktop anyway, so you'll be able to see it. But I can find out for you.
Okay.
So another thing I want to point out to you guys, when you see the different content blocks on the left, we saw how we can drag and drop and move them. This is what it looks like, or what it will look like on the site. So as you're scrolling, here we go. So here's the next one. So they're in the same order, is my point. So that's my agent rebrand block. If I click on the pencil, this block's data can be edited in Mac Center. So that's what I meant when I said you've got to have your profile stuff accurate, because I can't edit it from my block.
I love
It's
how it tells you that.
all feeding itself.
So if your picture's wrong, then it's right in your Mac Center profile. What do you call?
What?
Real skinny thin.
Okay.
That's an old picture. It don't even look like me. People be like, "Who is that?"
So
Okay,
you're
so-
saying that your profile in Mac Center has a different picture than what you're seeing here.
Then you gave me back one. Well, this is from like 10 years ago. Mac Center has the real one.
That is really, really funny. I would submit it, I would talk to support services and ask them if it's something on their side, if they just need to update it or refresh, since maybe it was from when you were here before.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's going on there.
So, this on the
Very
left-hand
skinny.
side.
Yes.
Where do you, I don't see that on the, do you create?
I haven't either.
You create it first.
Even as a
Oh,
baby,
that's
I
right.
didn't
Yes,
know.
yes.
That's what I thought. It's never going to
Which is what we're gonna do this afternoon. We'll do that this afternoon. So looking further down the page, you guys, so here's my listings block. Again, I can move this up or down the page. I can click on my pencil here. And then this, because I'm in beta, this is just sample listings. All the listings will be active listings unique to you when your site goes live. Because again, we're talking about my featured listings. So you can go back to that.
And if you don't create a web page, then there's nothing out there.
No, that's not how that's going to work.
Okay.
So if you are somebody who's like, I don't care to update my website, I don't feel like messing with it, it's fine the way it is, it's going to be out of the box, ready to go, perfectly set up where you don't have to do anything, which is why it's so important that your details are correct in Mac Center, because that really is the only thing that can make or break it on how somebody
You're
can
gonna be
interact
on
with you.
web page no matter what.
You're getting a page no matter what.
I got one now.
But we already have.
Well, I know that,
Yeah.
but I just want
Next, I'm looking at reviews. So this is the Zillow review block. So that's a good answer to your question earlier, Paige. So these are the ones that are completely feeding in automatically. If I didn't want that, I can delete that right there. I just, by clicking on the trash can, I'm gonna say remove it. It's gonna go away, just that simple. Next is the call or social media block, excuse me. So I'm gonna click on the pencil again. Again, this block's data is gonna be available to edit coming up soon. So do you guys see up here where it says block content and block details? So you can also click right here to where this becomes a draft. So maybe you're still working on a few things, but you don't want it to show up. You can change that, whether it shows up or it's still in draft format. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back on. It's just a toggle, just a little click, that's all it takes.
So, what happens if you delete something, you go, oh, I didn't mean to delete it?
You just add it back. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. Yep. So I'm gonna go back to the block list. Keeping it moving. Let's see here. We followed those. Here are the call to action blocks. So my mobile app, account benefits, these come standard with your site, but you can choose to remove them if you wish. Or if you have a blog that you're writing yourself and you want to feature that because it's specific to this area or whatever it is that you're involved in, you can do that too. And then next comes the video embed.
Come together?
Yes.
Can you, okay.
Those two come together, and that's what's, I think, standard or default across the board. And that's good because as Remax pushes out new content on their blog, it'll update on your site as well. So if you don't have a blog, you don't have to worry about it. Next comes the video embed. So if that's something that you guys have a video that you want to feature, we talked about that, you can include that here, or you can remove it. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to remove it to show you guys how it doesn't leave that placeholder. Going to remove it. There we go. So there's no large gap where something was or should be. It just moves everything up. And then, of course, you have a contact block. So again, okay, so right here, this blue button, add a block. I'm going to click that. And these are the different content blocks. that you guys can choose from. So maybe it's a photo with some text. I could click that. Maybe you've got a quote that just completely is your go-to quote for your business and how you approach things. You can do that in an image slideshow. You guys can see here's video embed if I want it back. I'm going to click on that. I can create my title. So video. I would just paste the URL. So if you have it posted at Vimeo or YouTube or wherever, you would just take that link, paste it here. And then if you have a caption, video about our community, you're done there, and then you'll hit save. It goes back onto your site. What's that?
Instead of a URL link to leave your website, can you embed a video?
So this is the video embed block. So I think it just needs to know what that URL looks like, and then it's going to place it into your site. So it'll play without having to leave your site. Mm-hmm. You can also name these different things. So video embed, again, if it stands out to you to name it something different on the back end of your site, you have that control too. So if you just say this is my video, or maybe you have multiple videos and you need to call them different things, that's a way that you can keep them organized. Going back to the block list, I'm going to go back into add a block so you guys can see the rest of them. So that was video embed, saved search, blog posts, testimonials. So if those that you're copying from other sources and you want to highlight those, you would just click on testimonials and it's all going to go onto your site if you pasted them into that testimonial section that we talked about at the beginning. More social media, another call to action, communities. I love communities. So if you guys primarily are working in, say, Lumberton or maybe Hardin County, so you've got Lumberton, Silsbee, you know, Koontz, so on and so forth, you can have those different communities highlighted on your page, which is really cool. Where to go next, agent, all of these. My recommendation for you guys is just to play with them, just see, because it's going to evolve. Like you may start with one set of content blocks and it's going to be completely different 2, 3 months from now, 4 months from now. So those are the blocks. I'm going to go back in. Here we go.
So again, you cannot see that until you've created your web page.
Yeah, we'll go in this afternoon and I'll show you when we go through our exercises how that all is kind of worked together and how we'll create a page and what that looks like. So maybe you want to create a page within your website because you guys know a website is different from a web page, right? A page lives within the website. A web page is not something that stands on its own. It has to belong to something else. It has to belong to the site, okay?
Are we able to have pages?
Yes, yes. So if you want to link to, I don't know, give me an example. It could be anything.
A neighborhood.
Neighborhood, yes. You could have an external, you could have a page that points to a neighborhood that maybe you're representing exclusively. You could have a school districts page. Like here's a list of all of our local school districts, and you could link to every one of those school districts. You know, here's what's chambers of commerce. If you do a lot of relocation, or if you wanted a page dedicated to relocation, you could have that. So again, it's encouraged that you guys create additional pages because the more local content that you're putting onto your site, the more likely it is that you're going to show up in those results when somebody who's local or is searching for something local can find it in the list of search results with Google or whichever thing they're using. This afternoon, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through an exercise on how to create a page, how to name it, what to put where, how that's going to show up, how we can edit it. So that's at 2 o'clock today. Yay, we'll have the printouts for step-by-step instructions. I'll also record it like I've been recording all of our other classes. They are found in Back Agent now. So if you guys missed anything earlier in the week, you're more than welcome to go back to those. If you go into Back Agent and you click on Office from the red menu bar, then you click on Documents, there's a folder that's going to say all about booj. All of the class recordings are in there. Do y'all have any questions about what we've talked about today?
Can't wait till 2 o'clock.
Yay, it's going to be so fun. So fun. Okay, well, thank you guys as always. If you did not get a chance to have any breakfast, there's still plenty back there, so please enjoy, courtesy of Stuart Title, and I will see you guys at 2 o'clock. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.